and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a get ready with me because last time I did a little get ready with me, people said they liked it, and I love showing you guys how I do my makeup and stuff, and it also gives me a bit of entertainment while I do my makeup. So today we are going to talk about some of my Swiftie unpopular opinions. It's going to be a controversial one, but I do just want to say that if you do any of these things, that is okay. Like, it is completely up to you what you decide to do in your life. There'll be plenty of Swiftie things that I do that other people don't agree with. People let me know all the time about it. But yeah, I love yapping, so let's go. Also, if you're new to the channel, hello, my name is Rachel. I do lots of Taylor Swift videos, Taylor Swift vinyl unboxings, reaction videos. I also sometimes talk about beauty products and stuff. I do vlogs, mental health videos. If that sounds like something that would interest you, it would be so unbelievably cool if you could subscribe if you're new here. But if you're not new here, you've been here before, thank you so much, and thank you for returning and watching me. Yeah, it means a lot. So, as I said, we're going to be doing a get ready with me whilst also talk about Swiftie Unpopular opinions. I will show you the products I'm using and stuff just so people can see. Just take that sticker off because it has hair on it. Gross. But here we go. So we're going to start off with primer. This is my favourite primer. It's the NYX Plump It Right Back. It's a great primer. But we're going to start off very strong in terms of my Swiftie Unpopular opinions and say, I don't care when Rep TV comes. I don't. I genuinely... I'm excited for Rep TV, don't get me wrong, obviously, like, I'm excited for whatever Taylor's version, like, I've really enjoyed the Taylor's version project, but for me personally, I just don't care when it comes. Like, yes, clowning is fun, it is, but I think when you clown, it's important to know that, like, 99% of the time, the clowning theories won't come true, especially if the clowning involves all this complex mathematics, like, jumping through hoops, like, counting random like hair strands in a photo or something like crazy like that. Like, those theories aren't going to come true. Like, realistically, like, we know they're not going to come true, but it's like fun to kind of clown about. I just wish that when they didn't come true, people weren't as mean to people, because people can then be so nasty to Taylor, being like, why didn't she announce it here? Like, for the final Eras tour date, people were so mad that she gave us like nothing for that final Eras tour date. The show was boring and all of that. Like, I completely disagree with that, and like, I think it's wrong to get mad at Taylor for not doing something you've made up in your head. So I think clowning would be more fun if people didn't do that, I think, because people now have just made it into this something it shouldn't be. Like, in the past, like, Easter eggs, Taylor Swift Easter eggs have been the most obvious things ever. Like, you watch the Me music video and she's like, the title of the album's reveals in this music video, no one's guessed it yet, and it was like, Taylor, with love and kindness, we'd all guessed it. It was literally a neon light saying lover. Like, her Easter eggs are the most obvious things in the world. Sometimes they are more subtle, and there'll be plenty of more subtle ones we've not even noticed, but in terms of like ones we know about, they've been really obvious. And I think that people really want Rep TV that they are just willing to clown so much. And again, there's nothing wrong with clowning, like, that's the thing, there's absolutely nothing wrong with clowning. I think it's just they're like getting mad when things don't happen. So that is one of my things. And also getting mad at the creators for making any kind of theories. Like, there are two sides of this. There are the people who get mad at Taylor because she didn't do the theory that they were convinced she was going to do. But then there's also people who get mad at like any kind of like Swiftie creators for making any sort of Rep TV theory. Like, Rep TV theories do really well online. Like, I've done like one Rep TV theory and like it did really well. That's why people do it, because the videos do well because people are clowning and they want this album. But what I've noticed with all of Taylor's versions, essentially, is that when they come out, people complain about them, like, immediately. Like, you think people were begging for 1989, like, they were really excited for it, me included. But when it came out, they were like, I don't like how Style sounds. I don't like what she did with How You Get the Girl, on New Romantics, whatever. I don't like the vault tracks. The vault tracks don't sound like part of this album. The vault tracks sound like they have Midnight's production, as if that's an insult. And I just know that when Rep TV eventually does come out, people are going to complain about it. Like, we've already had teasers of some of the songs, like Look What You Made Me Do, and people have been like, I don't like how she said do in Look What You Made Me Do. Like, she well and truly can't win. The reason why people don't like the way the song sounds is because they've grown up with a particular song. Like, if you've grown up with a particular song, of course when she re-records it and it's not identical, because she can't make them identical, like, it's going to sound weird, it's going to sound different, but if you continually listen to the Taylor's version, it will just sound normal. So I'm not looking forward to when Rep TV comes out and we get all of the think pieces of people thinking they're edgy and different for not liking the Taylor's version of it, or not liking the vault tracks. Also, in terms of what I've just used on my face, it's the Rimmel Multitasker Better Than Filters. I quite like this, and I used it in 002 Fair Light. But yeah, that is just a little bit of a rant about Rep TV. I think I'm just so tired of the clowning. And especially, like, when people get mad at Taylor for doing anything else. Like, when we got the Eras Tour film, like, where's Rep TV? When we got Torture Poets Department, like, I remember doing videos about it at the time and people were like, I would rather have released Reputation Taylor's version. Like, why would you get one, like, max 6 new songs and then the rest of them being an album we've already heard, compared to an album with like 13 tracks or 15, I can't remember how many this standard version has, but like obviously in the end we got like 31 Torture Poets tracks. Like, surely that's what you'd want more. I don't know, I just don't get it. I think debut TV is also coming out and I feel like everyone forgets about debut TV, and I genuinely worry that if she announces debut first, people will be so nasty towards Taylor, towards anyone who's excited for debut TV. I just feel like it will be very, very chaotic. So yeah, we had to start off very, very strong with Rep TV clowning, because basically it's fine to clown. What's not fine is having a go at Taylor or anyone else, because like clowning theories didn't happen essentially. It's fine for Taylor to take breaks. You wouldn't think this would be a controversial opinion, and I most definitely didn't think it was a controversial opinion, but apparently it is. People got mad at Taylor for not attending the iHeartRadio Awards, because obviously it was a fan-voted award show, like, yeah, but also like, she has been on this huge world tour. Like, I think people underestimate how big this world tour actually was. Like, there were so many shows. It's a 3.5-hour show. Like, it's hard for anyone. And whenever she talks about it, she says about how hard it was. Like, on her body, like her mind and everything like that. Like, this was a difficult show to do. I wouldn't be surprised if she took like a full year off. Like, I don't think she will take a full year off because it's Taylor Swift. Like, she's probably doing stuff right now because she scares me in every way, but like, I just think she deserves a break. If she doesn't want to go to an award show, she shouldn't have to. Like, and you can't blame her, because at so many award shows they just like stick a camera on her all night. Like, she can't just like dance with her friends without people writing think pieces about it. So like, I completely get why she wouldn't attend these award shows, because it gives her like just time away from like cameras, and I think that's what she's doing right now. Like, we're getting a handful of like paparazzi shots of like Taylor and Travis every like 2 weeks or something, but like, we don't even need those. Like, I don't necessarily agree with paparazzi shots either, but like, she's fine. We know she's fine. We just should let her have a break, and I think it's okay for her to have a break, and I want her to have a break, because like, even when she was on the world tour, like, she released 2 Taylor's versions, a full new album, and like, she's also got a lot coming up. Like, we know there's a lot of projects coming up, and I think people forget about them in ways, being like, they just want them to come rather than like just letting them kind of like marinate. Just that makes no sense. But like, we know Rep TV is coming, we know debut TV are coming. They're gonna come this year. Realistically, they are gonna come this year. She's directing this like feature film with Searchlight Pictures. We know that's coming eventually. We know absolutely nothing about that, but we know it's coming. We know there's some kind of documentary or docu-series coming, because we saw them filming it during the Eras Tour. Obviously we saw during those Vancouver shows as well. They were filming the shows during that. Like, we know these things are coming. And for me personally, that makes like the drought we currently have, like, it doesn't matter, because we know stuff is coming. Whereas after 1989, we didn't know what was coming next. Like, obviously she wasn't doing the 2-year album cycle, she's always done. She said she was going to take a step back, and then obviously Snakegate happened and stuff. Like, we knew she was taking a break at that point, and that actually was a drought. Like, we had not heard from Taylor, we didn't even know how long her hair was. Like, we knew absolutely nothing at that point. Like, that was a drought. I feel like this isn't really a drought, it's just Taylor having just like a bit of a break after this huge huge world tour. Now this one is going to be very, very controversial. I think it was right for Taylor to not re-record the original Better Than Revenge lyrics. I know, and for a lot of people, they listen to the stolen version because they prefer the stolen version's lyrics. Now, I just want to say that I think if she'd released these lyrics back at the time, I think people would have loved them, because I think it's actually quite a good lyric, and like it does put like blame on the man rather than the woman, and it's not like shamey in the same way. And I think people only care because she changed it, but you could completely understand why she changed it, because for years after Speak Now came out, people said it was a problematic song. They were like, let's turn feminism off for like 3 minutes and listen to this song. Like, they called it the misogynistic song. Why would she re-record that? Like, fans have made such a big deal about it being misogynistic over the years, rightfully so. Why would she then re-record it and put it on an album? Because by doing that, you're essentially standing by the lyrics you wrote. So I completely understand why she didn't do it. For me, I think what would have been quite good, and this probably is also quite controversial, is that on the album had the Moth to the Flame lyric, but then also on streaming have a streaming only version with the original lyrics that's a Taylor's version of it. So then people who refuse to listen to this new lyric for whatever reason, because they think it's like edgy, can then still listen to this streaming only version that's a Taylor's version. But I do think if she did do that, she would have to make some kind of like little statement just being like, this was my reactions at the time as like, you know, a very young woman, like she was like a teenager going into her 20s, like this isn't how I think today. This was just kind of like, it's a thing of its time kind of sort of situation with her. Like, obviously we've all had these moments. We're not all perfect. We're not perfect humans. You know, we've all had problematic thoughts when someone has like left us for someone else or anything like that, or it seems like some girl has stolen your boyfriend. Like, people have obviously had these thoughts, like whatever. I just think it would have been good to have that streaming version, just because of the fans who are insistent on listening to that. Like, I'm sorry, I don't get it. I think the Taylor's version's fine. Yes, the lyric does shock me time to time, I will admit, the lyric does shock me, but I just think it's fine. Like, I think people make a bigger deal out of it than it needs to be, but I do think it would have been good to avoid those people making this big deal of it, to have two different versions. But obviously then there's problematic by doing that. I get it, I get why she only did one, but I think it would have been quite good to do two, just to stop people from being insistent on listening to the stolen version. Also for the like cream bronzer I was just using, is this number 7 one. I love it so much. Like I've had it for months now, and like I've hardly used any of the products. Well, I've used a bit, but like not loads. Like there's still so much left. It's the Pro Artist Soft Glow cream bronzer in light glow. It's really, really good. And it has a shelf life of 18 months, so yeah, which is always good. Shelf life? Is that even the right word? I don't think that's the right word. That's like about food. I don't know. Also, I'm doing this without like properly a mirror, so I'm just gonna check in the mirror to make sure I look like a human. Because like when you're doing it, like I yap and then I don't like pay attention to where like the product's going, and then I look like 5 seconds later and it's like, oh, this is a unique makeup look that I wish I had not done. So we're just gonna like fix that up a little bit. Anyway, back to unpopular opinions. Let me know so far what you think about these unpopular opinions. Like, do you think I am too chaotic by sharing these? Do you agree with any of them? Disagree with any of them? It's completely okay regardless. As long as you're nice, we keep it nice in the comment section. I'm interested to know your thoughts. Interested to know your thoughts. There's no words in this brain. This one is about the Eras tour. So, for me personally, when I was at the Eras tour, I was only really focused on like the people I was with and Taylor. Like that was pretty much it. Like the band obviously on stage, the dances, everything like that. But they were the only things I was really thinking about. I will never understand coming back after a concert or even tweeting mid-concert that the people around you aren't singing. Like, oh, the girl next to me is not singing. She's sat down, whatever. Someone went to the toilet during All Too Well. Like, people online were so judgy about other people at the Eras tour, and I will never understand that. Like for me personally, again, like I wasn't focusing on other people around me, and I think it says a lot about you if you are focusing on specific people around you. And you would see videos of people being like, I carried my section, like look at everyone behind me sat down, and they would have flash on their phone like 0.5 showing everyone in the background. Like, I don't blame them. If I saw someone filming me like that, I also would like stop singing and dancing because I'd be worried I was about to be made fun of on social media. But then you're made fun of for not doing that. Like, you literally couldn't win. and it just sucks because I had someone, I can't remember which show it was, but there was a show where people in front of me were like taking pictures and like recording themselves, and then at one point they took a picture of me and I saw it was not a flattering picture of me because I was like mid singing because I'm at a concert, and then they were laughing at it and pointing at it. Like that makes you feel really, really rubbish because like why can't I just enjoy the concert without you guys like making fun of me? You know, like it was just so nasty of like girls to do that. I just didn't really understand. Like surely you should just be enjoying the concert rather than focusing on the people around you. I don't know. I just don't get that, and I just think it's a shame. Like yes, you could notice if the stadium went quiet. Like of course you could notice that. Like during certain surprise songs, one that was very notable was Carolina at Liverpool. Yes, you notice the people around you aren't as loud, but I didn't notice anyone specific because I wasn't focusing on them because like I didn't really know them or whatever. Like I was just focusing on Taylor and like singing all the lyrics because I want to sing along the lyrics. So I do wish people had been slightly less judgy on social media and in person of people who decided to sit down during the show. It's a 3.5 hour show. It's a long show. A lot of people are tired. They want to sit down, like especially like younger people as well, or like disabled people, older people, or people who just want to sit down. Like you have no idea someone's personal life circumstance. Like they could have had a busy day at work, they've then come straight to the Eras tour. They should be allowed to sit down during the show. It doesn't cause you any harm whatsoever. And like people who went to the bathroom, we went to the bathroom once during the show, one of the Liverpool shows, and the people on the end of the aisle genuinely were like so like off with us for like leaving. Like, I'm sorry for needing a wee. And people online were being like, yeah, I could never go to the toilet during the Eras tour. Like, I don't want to miss a thing. And all of that. And they were like shaming people for going to the toilet. And like, it was this big thing about people going to the loo. People need to pee, and that's fine. I just don't understand why that was even made into a discourse. I actually find it a little bit hilarious that people thought they were bigger fans than others because they could stand up for longer or they didn't need to wee in a 3.5 hour space. Like, congratulations, I guess, but I don't think that makes you a bigger Taylor Swift fan. If anything, it makes you less of a Swiftie if you're being so judgmental to other people. Like, just being like nasty for like no reason. I don't know, but that's my opinion. On a similar note, I think you should be allowed to go to a Taylor Swift concert or any concert and not know every single lyric to every single song. I have been to so many concerts where I have not known every single lyric to every single song, and that's okay, because a lot of artists have a lot of songs and I may just not vibe with a particular album or whatever. Like with Taylor Swift, yes, obviously I do know all of the Taylor Swift songs. It's fine. I do. But I don't really care if other people don't. Like, there were younger people at some of the shows around me and they didn't know some of like the older songs or like the ones that aren't like as like pop or whatever. And during the pop ones, the ones they knew, they were having the best time. And even the ones they didn't know, they were still enjoying the show and enjoying watching it. And it just makes me sad that people turned like the Eras tour into like this competition. And I think it doesn't just happen with the Eras tour, it happens with lots of like ones where like artists have like quite an intense fan base. But it's just kind of like, let people go to concerts, you know, like let them enjoy it. I don't think you should have to like pass a test to know like all of the songs by a particular artist to be able to see that concert. And don't get me wrong, I get it, like if you lost out on the Ticketmaster war, you are sad if you see people going and they don't know the words, but like at the end of the day, like that's not their fault. Obviously I think with like the set list, like maybe listen to it beforehand if you want to, but also I just don't think you should have to. Like, you should be able to go to the show without knowing everything. Like, people didn't know particular surprise songs. And like, I think if you're going online and then like reacting weirdly to the people who do know the surprise songs, that's weird. But I think if you're going online being like, I didn't know the surprise song, I think that's fine. Or if you were there and you sat down because you didn't know the surprise song, that's fine. A lot of people didn't. She has like almost 300 songs. Like, people aren't going to know every single one if they're more of a casual fan. And I just don't see an issue with that. I just think we should be less judgmental because there are newer fans. Obviously with the Eras tour, like, we had a lot of fans join the fandom during that time, and I just think like we should be more like understanding and welcoming almost, just because, I don't know, it just makes me sad. And talking about surprise songs, I think it's okay to be disappointed in your surprise song. I think there is nothing wrong with that. It's a normal human emotion to feel like disappointed. Like, if you didn't know the song, like you had your heart set on a particular song, I think it's understandable to be disappointed. But I think it's in slightly poor taste to then go on social media and basically imply that your whole show was ruined because you didn't get this one surprise song you wanted out of like 300, almost 300 she could have chosen from. Like, I get it, like that's the thing, like I completely understand being disappointed. I just think there were so many people who couldn't get tickets for the Eras tour and then going online and just complaining that your entire show was ruined because you didn't get 2 songs out of like a 44 song set list is just in poor taste. Like, you're not going to the Eras tour for the surprise songs, you're going to see the Eras tour. Same for people who complained that like their show didn't have a particular announcement. I saw a lot of people say, oh, my show was like a boring one, like my show wasn't memorable, so it wasn't like as good. Like, we didn't have a special guest, you know, we didn't have an announcement. And like, most shows didn't have a special guest or an announcement. It doesn't make it any less special, because when you buy tickets for the Eras tour, you're buying tickets for the Eras tour. You're not buying tickets for the Eras tour and a special guest and the Eras tour and an announcement. And I just think, like, if the only reason you want to go is for like a special show just so you can like post on social media that you were at that show, like, I don't know, I don't like that necessarily. I just think like it's in poor taste just because there were so many people who couldn't get tickets. But also, like, it's kind of downplaying Taylor's like really hard work. She's put on this huge like 3.5 hour show for you and you're complaining that she didn't do anything extra. Like, she doesn't have to do anything extra, and that just, I don't know, I think it's in poor taste to do that, because like I completely understand seeing other shows get like whatever, like something you really want, but like I just think you've still got to experience this like huge world tour, and I think that's kind of the thing you should be taking away rather than not getting the surprise song you want or not getting the announcement you want. Like with that last Eras Tour show in Vancouver, even people who weren't there were like, it was disappointing, it was underwhelming. Like, people in my comment section were being so horrible towards Taylor, being like, she gave us absolutely nothing. Like, we've supported her for this entire tour, and what has she given us? The tour! Like, she's given us the tour, she's given us the tour film for people who couldn't watch the tour. Like, she gave us so much, and the fact that you wanted the last show of the tour to be an announcement was just not... I just did... Like, part of me thought, oh, maybe she's just saving it for the last show like Rep TV, but also it's the last show of this huge tour. Like, that's, I think, the thing she wants to focus on. I saw people get mad that she didn't seem emotional enough. Like, someone was like, she should have cried because we were all upset the show's ending. Why isn't she upset? She's probably relieved it's ending, but like, why do you want to see your favorite artist cry? Like, that was one of the most bizarre comments, because I had a few people say they were mad she didn't seem emotional about it ending. Like, there was probably a big bit of relief from her that it was ending, and I just think like it's so, I don't even know the word I'm thinking of right now, but to just want her to be upset is wrong, I think. Which will lead on to my next unpopular opinion. But like, yeah, I think people were just so nasty about that last Eras Tour show. Like, I watched it, I woke up early to watch it, because obviously it was in Vancouver, so it was like an 8-hour time difference. Like, I woke up early to watch it. I enjoyed it, I thought it was sweet. She did lots of like, her little speeches saying, oh, this is the last show of the tour, it's been a great tour. I had some people say, it's disappointing at the very end of the show she didn't do a huge speech. Like, she's never done a huge speech at the end of the show. Like, that's never happened for any previous tours. People then complained about the social media caption she did, even though it was the exact same at the end of the Rep tour. I think a lot of people who wanted this last show to be this huge, like, monumental thing weren't there for previous last shows of previous tours. And that's fine if you're a newer fan, but, like, don't get mad at Taylor because you wanted something. Like, you thought she was going to do something that she's never done before. Because I just thought people were so nasty. Especially towards Taylor and also other fans during that like last show, because she didn't do anything big and spectacular. It was just the standard Eras Tour show. Does anyone remember the drama that she was filming those last shows? People were like, oh well, she's not going to be fun, you know, because it's being filmed. She's wearing the same outfits, it's ruined Mastermind for us. That was the funniest one. I think people being like, she's ruined Mastermind for these last shows. Mastermind is this it's part of the Swiftie app, and basically people guessed particular outfits she was going to wear in like the surprise songs, and you could win like a prize. It's not an official Taylor Swift thing, it's literally just a fan-made thing, but the fact people were like, it's not fair she's done this, was, I think, really funny. Like, genuinely, like, she's literally filming something for us in the future. How are you getting so mad about this? I thought that was probably one of the most funny, like, recent Swiftie things people have got mad at. Okay, I feel like I've ranted enough about my Eras Tour opinions there. because people were just so, it was that last show, I'm just thinking like the comments I had on some of my videos, people were just being so like ungrateful that like about this tour. It was just a shame. Like I think part of it is like really funny because it's like there's no way you actually think this, but then another part is like actually really sad that Taylor's put on this huge show and it's still not good enough for people. So next up, another unpopular opinion, you don't need to collect CDs and vinyl and Taylor Swift merch to be a real Taylor Swift merch. You don't need to collect any Taylor Swift CDs, vinyl, merch, anything like that to be a real Taylor Swift fan. I think it doesn't make you any more or less of a fan just because you can afford to buy CDs and vinyl and merch. Like there are plenty of fans who can't get merch in their country. There are plenty of fans who don't have a CD player, don't have a vinyl player, don't want to pay for those things, are younger, don't have the money to be able to pay for them. Like whatever reason they don't want to have these things or they can't have these things is fine and completely acceptable, and it doesn't make them less of a fan, and it doesn't make you more of a fan just because you've got like a big merch collection. Like I'm someone who does like obviously like vinyl variant collection stuff, and I make the videos on it because I want to show people what these things are like for people who can't collect them for whatever reason or don't want to, because like I just want to help people out in any kind of way I can. So it makes me sad when people judge fans for not being able to support Taylor with physical music. Like they're still listening to her music. The only thing that's required to be a Taylor Swift fan is to listen to her music. You don't have to collect all of these things if you don't want to collect them. So I know it's unpopular, but I stand by that belief. On a similar note, it's completely okay to be a new fan of an artist. It's okay to have discovered Taylor during the Midnights era or during the Eras tour or whatever. Like new fans are more than welcome because it means that Taylor can continue what she's doing, you know, breaking all these records. If she didn't have these new fans, she wouldn't have broken the records that she hadn't broken in the past. So I think it's great that new fans exist. And it's also great because I love sharing like Taylor Swift like Swiftie lore from like the past with the new fans, because it's great to share that kind of knowledge on, and I love like new people coming into the fandom and making new friends. What I don't love is when newer Swifties send hate to the older Swifties though. That does happen. You get them sending so much hate and being like, this thing didn't happen, even though like the Swiftie was there when it happened. They're like, I don't know how to tell you this, but this was a thing that happened. Like, sometimes newer Swifties can be so cruel to older Swifties. Like, in particular, we all know this point was coming. We all knew it was going to be mentioned at some point in this video. The Swifties who sent hate to other Swifties for going to the Eras tour more than once, it was unacceptable. I'm sorry, I stand by that. That is not an opinion of mine that's ever going to change. Yes, I did go to the Eras tour more than once, as people really like to point out. And I had every right to do that, because it was my own money. People were acting like I'd spent their money on the concert tickets. That you stole my tickets. Like, no I didn't. You never had these tickets. I couldn't steal a ticket from you if you never had those tickets to begin with. Like, people were blaming real fans. They were going onto people's like social media accounts who had been to the Eras tour more than once, saying how awful and horrible and selfish of a person they were. They were telling people to like themselves because they were mad they couldn't get tickets. When the issue was the resale market, but also the verified fan system. The verified fan system meant that a lot of fans never got access to the sale in the first place. That was the issue. It wasn't real fans going more than once. And like, the amount of hate I got, and thing is, I'll never understand what their intention was between sending all that hate, because I wasn't going to give them my ticket then. Like, I think if that's what their intention was, for me to be like ashamed and give them my ticket, like respectfully, if they had made me ashamed, I wouldn't then give the ticket to someone who had sent me hate. Like, people were calling me every name under the sun during the Eras tour. Like, I literally just had to stop looking at comments because people were being so nasty. And it was ridiculous. Like, I had to block so many people because every single time I posted anything about the Eras tour, people were like, you're evil. Like, okay. And then they brag later on, like 3 months, 6 months, a year later, being like, oh yeah, she blocked me because I told her it was selfish and awful and she's an evil person for going to the Eras tour more than once. Like, yes, obviously I blocked you. Why wouldn't I block you? Why would I let you say all these horrible things about me when I don't know you? Like, people made so many false assumptions about me because I went to the Eras tour more than once. It was intense. And then you would get the people argue with you saying, well, just don't post about the Eras tour. One, I should be able to post about my favourite artist without getting a ridiculous amount of hate. Like, I've always posted about Taylor. Like, for years and years. Like, people have never sent me this level of hate before. Like, it's not my fault that like people now can't handle their jealousy, and that's a big thing. Like, it is a jealousy thing, which sounds so like cringe. It's like, but it is. And I just think that people need to handle their emotions better than sending hate to people online. Because with Sabrina Carpenter, I had to get like resale tickets like last minute, like they were quite expensive, like I struggled getting the tickets for it. I saw people going to every show in Europe. You know what I didn't do? I didn't send them hate on their videos, because that's wasting my own time, to be completely honest. It's just a waste of time. Like, in that time I have spent looking for people who've gone more than once, and like hate watching people I don't like just to watch them go to another show. I could have been looking for tickets for myself, rather than, you know, sending people hate. I just will never understand that. I will never understand the point of sending people hate over an artist. I think it was so nasty. Like in the past, like 5 years ago, when I was getting hate on Taylor Swift videos, it was from people being like, oh, Kanye's better, Kanye made her famous, blah, blah, blah. Whereas now it's from other Swifties, which is so disappointing to see Swifties be so cruel to another Swiftie. Like, I have made so many videos trying to help people get Eras Tour tickets, explain the sale, but there was only so much I could do. Like, realistically, there was only so much I could do. So I just still can't believe that I got so much hate for going to the shows more than once. Like, it's the same show. Like, yeah? And, like, if you don't want to go to this, like, the show more than once, you don't have to. No one's making you go. I personally do just want to go because I like Taylor Swift. You know, I've been to multiple shows in the past, no one said anything. Went to multiple 1989 shows, went to multiple Reputation shows. Nobody said anything, because it mainly comes from the people who just became a fan recently, which there is nothing wrong with becoming a fan recently. What is wrong is sending people hate for being a fan of that artist for longer than you have, so knowing all the tips and tricks to get tickets, like in terms of Midnight's pre-sale. Like, obviously I did share all of the things to be able to get tickets, like I shared the information about how I got the tickets, but like, if you didn't have Midnight's pre-sale, like, I can't be blamed for that, because that was the easiest way to get tickets in the UK, and for the Ireland show as well. Like, Midnight's pre-sale, I don't know anyone who had Midnight's pre-sale who couldn't get tickets, who had the money to be able to afford the tickets, who couldn't get tickets, because that was the best way to get them, because they announced that pre-sale in 2022, tickets then went on sale in 2023, mid-2023, so a lot of fans were able to get them, and that's how a lot of fans were able to go to multiple shows. So yeah, it's not my fault that you didn't have that Midnight's pre-sale, and you didn't know about Taylor then, and I wish people didn't blame me, because they just became a fan of an artist. It was quite nasty for people to do that. I also really want to stress at that last point that I understand it was very difficult to get Eras Tour tickets. I did as much as I could in terms of telling people the ways to go about trying to get them, especially those last minute ones. And like, I'm not shaming people for not being able to get tickets, because like, they were difficult to get. But it's basically, it's the people who were sending hate. If you weren't sending hate, none of this is about you. It's only the people who were like sending people hate for going more than once, because it wasn't just me, it was other people as well online that were getting a lot of hate. It was not just me. That is why I wanted to talk about it, because it was just, I still just can't believe how nasty people were. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a new fan. I like really want to stress that, because like, I really want to make my like social media platforms like TikTok, YouTube a very welcome space for open fans. That's why I make so many videos about like the merch and old stuff and like Swiftie kind of history, to help people like catch up and to help people feel welcome in the fandom, because I know some people make newer fans feel unwelcome, and that is absolutely not my intention. This is literally just directed at people who were sending like the hate. So if you're a new fan, none of this applies to you. Like, yeah, it's okay to have normal human emotions and see people go to the tour you wanted to go to and being sad. That's fine. It's when people take that outside of their brains and their little group chats, which is fine, like, just do it in private. If you really hate me, just talk about me in private in your little group chat. Don't tell me how much you hate me. Don't go on like forums and make up things about me, because people just started making up things about me. Bizarre. Didn't think I was that cool, but I guess I am. But yeah, it only applies to those people. If you are not one of those people, none of this applies to you. You're a lovely angel person. Thank you for being nice. I'm gonna do another really controversial, I mean, all of these are quite controversial, but this one is very controversial. People who make everything about Taylor Swift's dating life. And it's not just the media, like in the past, like it used to just be like the media who are like really making like everything about Taylor's dating, like who's this song about, what's this song about, blah blah blah. But now like real fans are doing it as well, which I think is just such a shame. Like when Torture Pose Department came out, people were like, oh, is this about this person or this person? Oh, this person did this person did that. I'm then gonna go online and send that person hate, send that person's family hate. No, Taylor does not want us to send hate to the family of one of her ex-boyfriends. Like, she has never suggested we do that. Like, literally in the like prologue or like the epilogue or whatever it is for this, I think it might be an epilogue in this album, like it's like the summary bit at the end, she's like, this is in the past, you know, it's all done, just like, it's in the past, just let me tell the story and not don't react to it essentially, but people still did, and I just thought it was such a huge shame that like people have sent so much hate to Taylor's exes, because it just means that she won't be as open. I think they'll get to a point where her exes get so much hate that she's not going to be as open with us. Like, I don't know if you remember the response after Reputation Taylor's version towards a certain person, but I thought that was completely unacceptable, and you could tell Taylor thought it wasn't great either. And I genuinely believe that with 1989 for the Vault tracks, that's why we didn't get kind of like any like anti like boyfriend tracks, because I think she knew who people would attack. That person would also call us out for doing that, rightfully so or wrongfully so. I think calling out the fans is one thing, calling out Taylor is another. Like, I think she has every right to write about her personal life. It's the fans who then go and attack. That's the issue. So I do just kind of wish that people could be normal. In terms of talking about her life, like, nowadays people are constantly like, well, Taylor's going to she's going to retire, she's going to take a 10-year break from touring because she's going to have babies and get married. Like, what are you on about? Like, that is absolutely none of our business. Like, people ask me my opinion on Travis, or like, do you think she's gonna have babies? I have no idea, nor do I care, nor is it any of my business. Like, if she has a child and she wants a child, that's fine. Like, that's obviously lovely for anyone, but like, that's none of our business as fans. Like, I saw people saying that she's gonna wait to re-record Reputation so she can do the gorgeous little baby thing with her own child, and I was like, that's a really weird thing to say. That's a really weird thing to say. I'm sorry. I understand people that are very like invested in Travis and Taylor. That's fine. But I think people do take a little bit overboard and just going into too much into their personal lives. You know, I think they give us a lot, you know, they have been seen in public, they have paparazzi shots, they don't really hide that much from the paparazzi. He's literally been on stage with her, they have shown us a bit of this relationship, but there is also a lot that's private. And I think we need to respect kind of the private stuff and not be invasive and weird. I told you these were going to be unpopular. I told you, I know that last one's going to be very unpopular. But also, like, you're free to do whatever you want with your life and say whatever you want with your life. Like, if you want to do that, like, you do you. This is just my own personal opinion about it. Also, this is the eyeliner I'm using. I realised I stopped kind of showing you the products. I hope you could see them. But if there's any you want to know, just let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to, like, answer whatever it is. Okay, this is how I do my eyeliner. I, like, evaluate the lines. So the lines like that. Sometimes it goes well. Sometimes it doesn't. I usually then touch it up after doing eyeliner, so after doing mascara, sorry. So I'll do like, oh, I didn't say anything. I then do a line, and then I'll clean it up after I've done my mascara. Sometimes I also do my eyeliner after mascara. I know. Anyway, back to unpopular opinions. I don't think it was weird for people to wear Travis Kelce jerseys at the Eras tour. I understand the points people made about it, being like, Taylor has like all these eras, like why are you dressing up as her boyfriend? But the vast majority of people I saw dressed up as Travis were obviously like boyfriends. They were obviously the people who've been dragged along with their girlfriends to go see Taylor, and I thought it was nice that they finally had something that they could wear and were comfortable wearing for the Eras tour. I actually quite liked it, and I think if Taylor didn't like it, Taylor Nation wouldn't engage with any posts with them. Taylor also engaged with people in the crowd who had Travis Kelce jerseys on, so I just don't think, if they don't have an issue, I don't see why we should have an issue. Like, I do understand the points people make about it, being like there are so many other eras, but the main people I saw at the shows I went to were obviously like the boyfriends, going with the girlfriends to see the show. So I thought it was nice that they had something they could wear. But I completely understand the other side of it. And that's the thing with like most of these things, I usually understand the other side, or I try to see the other side of it. Apart from people sending hate, no. Big no-no. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. I'm going to make this my last point, because I think it's quite a good one to leave on. Leave on? Anyway, gatekeeping. I don't like it. Now, I understand why people want to gatekeep, especially when it came to the Eras tour. There were so many like people who didn't even like Taylor going to this tour just because they wanted to say they'd been to the tour. I get that, but sometimes people are just newer fans of an artist, and that's okay. And I don't think people should be shamed for being newer fans of artists. Like, sometimes people weren't alive during those previous eras. They are new fans. That's great. I love seeing new fans. Honestly, it was so sweet seeing how many like parents were there with like their young kids at the Eras tour. Like, it was sweet. And I just think it's a shame that people want to gatekeep from that. Like, I want to share the Swiftie like things, like the Swiftie information. Like, I think certain things, like, yes, should be gatekept. Like, when leaks happen, whether or not you support leaks, I think there is a whole argument about that. I'm not a huge fan. They should be gatekept in the DMs. They should be gatekept privately. Like, if a leak happens, we share it privately, we don't share it publicly. But everything else, like, I think it's fine just to share things and fine to talk about stuff that's happened in, like, Swiftie history, you know, stories we'd heard from Taylor in the past. Like, I just don't understand the concept of gatekeeping. Especially when it's, like, the biggest artist in the world right now. But also when it's smaller artists, you hear people say they want to gatekeep Macy Peters. Like, no, you actively don't want to gatekeep a small artist. Because that means eventually, like, it could get to a point where they can't afford to travel, they can't afford to tour and everything, they can't afford to make the albums. Not saying that's the case with Macy Peters, obviously, because she's amazing and everyone loves her, but, like, you can't gatekeep artists, like, you can't, and surely you don't want to. You want people to discover their music, like, especially with smaller artists, like, you want people to discover them so they can make more and be encouraged to make more. So I will never understand when people try gatekeep. I don't get it. I don't. Yeah, I feel like that is my last one, just no gatekeeping. And I feel like I try to make my channel an anti-gatekeeping place. People say I gatekeep, and I'm literally just like, I just tell you all everything ever. The only thing I personally gatekeep is the price I've spent on concert tickets and, like, travel and stuff, because, like, I don't want to share that because that's, like, my life. But, like, I will usually share how much, like, a merch item costs, because, like, you can usually just find it. But, like, I gatekeep, like, personal things because that's my life. It's slightly different than, like, gatekeeping Taylor Swift stuff. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about this, any of these opinions. And I also want to stress, like, please don't feel like any of this was targeted, like, at you, unless you said hate. Like, if you do any of these things, that's fine. You know, none of us are perfect people. There are so many things I do that other Swifties do not agree with. So I don't want anyone to feel like, oh no, Rachel thinks I'm a loser. Rachel thinks I'm weird. No, I'm the loser and the weird one. It's not you, don't worry. But yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I am curious what you guys think about this. Like, with my unpopular opinions, some of them can be swayed, because I love to know what other people think, their opinions, because, like, everyone's life experience is different, so they have different opinions, even on things like Swiftie matters. So let me know what you think in the comments. Again, I really want to stress, if you do any of these things, say any of these things, that's fine, unless it's hate, because we're all human, you know, we all do things, and as I've said, there are plenty of things I do that other people don't agree with. So let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want to see more kind of unpopular opinion videos, more like Taylor Swift videos, let me know what sort of videos you guys want to see, because I want to make videos that you guys want to see. I hope you've liked this. It's been a little bit of a different one. Obviously it is kind of like a jokey one as well. Like, I know I've been, like, quite, like, negative. It's mainly jokey. Like, it's not this serious. I don't want anyone to feel upset about this video, so please know that it's all said with love and everything. Like, if you do any of these things, you do you, unless it's hate. You know, we don't stand for hate here. But yeah, hope you've liked it. It's been a weird one, and if you have any questions about the makeup things as well, let me know in the comments too, because I'd be more than happy to share specific items if I missed them, because I did get to a point where I just stopped showing them accidentally, and shades, just let me know. I'm more than happy to answer any of that. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, subscribe, please. If you want to, that's fine. If you don't, but yeah, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.